Hey everyone, it's Meredith, and I want to share another little mindset gem for you today. So, I know that some of you may be starting new positions, some of you have your own businesses, but what happens? There are times for all of us when we're faced with criticism, and sometimes it can be really harsh and hurtful criticism that really doesn't feel like it's fair or justified. So what do we do? What do we do in those moments? So here are a few little tips if you come onto these crushing moments of criticism and hurtful remarks headed your way. First and foremost, don't take it personally. Most people, when they deliver some sort of harsh or hurtful criticism, first of all, don't even really realize that they're doing it, at least not to that extent. And then secondly, people who tend to be particularly hurtful are hurtful because, here come the words again, they are full of hurt themselves inside. So hurtful people have a very, very difficult time seeing from a positive perspective. So frame that and take that into account as you absorb the waves from the impact of their criticism. And then secondly, we often have a tendency when we get in something that is very hurtful and frustrating to think of this emotional state as being eternal. It's hard to imagine not feeling this, and it's very easy for kind of the wolves of our inner dialogue to try to take us down a road of all the terrible truths that might be embedded in this sort of criticism and all these potential repercussions. That's where you really have to have the discipline to put the brakes on and really just take a moment to differentiate between temporary and eternal. Whatever you're feeling emotionally is temporary, and realize that some of the greatest figures in history, people that you may admire more than others, they have endured some of the harshest criticism, and even so, they managed to emerge the champion. So what if this is that moment for you, your defining moment, when you're going to just take this and take it and soar as a result? So temporary versus eternal. This is definitely very, very short-lived. And then while you're looking at what was said to you, poke around it a little bit and see if there are any things that you can actually take away from it that might be positive, anything that can contribute toward your success. Is there a hint of truth maybe in something they said, some way that you might be able to tweak whatever it is that you're doing, or your vision or your thought, that might be able to empower you even more and strengthen your position? Again, don't overly give them credit for being the total realists in their perceptions. But by the same token, there are often gifts deep inside some of those criticisms and ways that you really can make yourself better. But once you've poked at it once, and looked at it from delicately a different perspective, then let it go. Do not constantly be replaying it in your mind. I remember when I was first starting speaking, and I was super enthusiastic, which had a tendency to make me a little bit, let's say, too dramatic. I'm sure those of you who have worked with me, which is all of you, would never accuse me of being too dramatic, right? Or too expressive. Let's just say that I confess that I could be kind of William Shatner Star Trekky if I wasn't careful. So there I was, and I was out there delivering what I thought was very authentic, sincere, and heart-rendering version of my daughter and my story. So you can imagine when I got feedback that was harsh. One person even said, I really didn't like that speech. I really didn't like it. And she gave me like a 1 out of a 5. Wow. That was absolutely crushing and brutal. And there was a part of me that immediately thought, oh my God, I just can't do this. I'm not cut out to be a speaker. And gave me well, I won't say tens of thousands, slight exaggeration, but gave me enough reasons why I would fail to practically stop me in my tracks. So it's at moments like that that I had to really exert my mental fortitude to stop myself from hearing over and over again the words that I'd read of, I really disliked that speech, and really focus on, okay, give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I did in my nerves get a little too animated, and what can I do going forward? And is there any way that I can tweak that speech so that some of the elements that people didn't care for, some of the drama maybe was replaced with something different? So I took that, and actually eventually out of that harsh, hurtful criticism came a new direction that enabled me to become an even more powerful and more sought after speaker than I was before that speech. So again, give it a great look at what has been said to you with a grain of salt, and then drop it and move forward, remembering the most empowered version of your story. And if you feel angry, totally fine. Sometimes anger is really an important element of progressing from feeling like our power has been taken from us and feeling like we've been victimized, to taking our power back and feeling like we're regaining control and gaining momentum. Just don't stay in that place of resentment and anger and foaming at the mouth. Move on, and take a moment to think, you know what? If I was writing this as a story and I was the hero in the story and I was at this moment, how could I make this moment erupt into something that absolutely unleash the ultimate success for this hero in this story? And put that perspective. What would it look like in your life? And therefore, what are you going to make this mean in the context of everything else going on for you professionally right here, right now? And how can you turn this experience into a moment where you look back and you say, wow, I know how to take the bitter and turn it into the rocket fuel. So that's my little gem for you today. I hope it helps. Go out and be a rock star. Oh my gosh, business calls. All right, bye. Talk to you guys later.